Imagine this. It's the mid-1800s, and traveling from the East Coast to the West Coast of the United States could take up to 6 months. You'd have to cross rugged mountains, vast deserts, and dangerous rivers, all for a chance at a new life. Now imagine that same journey could be done in just a week, thanks to a single line of iron rails stretching from coast to coast. That's the story of the Transcontinental Railroad, the greatest engineering feat of its time, and a project that forever changed America. Hey there, welcome back. Today we're going back in time to the mid-1800s to explore one of the most ambitious projects in U.S. history, the building of the Transcontinental Railroad. We're going to dig into how it was built, the challenges they faced, and how it connected a nation that was still recovering from a brutal civil war. Why was the Transcontinental Railroad so important? Before the railroad, getting across the United States was a logistical nightmare. You either had to take a long and treacherous overland route in covered wagons or sail all the way around the southern tip of South America, which took months. The journey was slow, expensive, and dangerous. But the discovery of gold in California in 1848 and the promise of the West being wide open for settlement created a demand for faster, more efficient travel. People wanted to get to the West quickly, and the only way to make that possible was by rail. The problem? There was no easy way to lay tracks across thousands of miles of rugged terrain. A nation divided and united. At the same time the railroad was being discussed, the U.S. was a nation divided, literally. The Civil War had just torn the country apart, and the idea of connecting the East and West with a single railroad seemed like the perfect way to bring the country together again. It wasn't just about transportation, it was about unity. President Abraham Lincoln understood this. He believed that a transcontinental railroad could be a way to physically and symbolically unite the country after the war. So in 1862, he signed the Pacific Railway Act, which gave 2 companies the green light to start building. The companies behind the dream, Union Pacific and Central Pacific, 2 companies, were tasked with building the Transcontinental Railroad, the Union Pacific Railroad and the Central Pacific Railroad. The Union Pacific started in Omaha, Nebraska, and worked westward, while the Central Pacific began in Sacramento, California, and worked eastward. The goal? Meet in the middle. Sounds simple, right? Well, not exactly. Both companies had to deal with harsh environments, shortages of workers, and the sheer scale of the project. The Union Pacific had to lay tracks across the Great Plains, while the Central Pacific faced the towering Sierra Nevada mountains. The challenges of building the railroad. The work was backbreaking. Union Pacific crews, many of whom were Irish immigrants and former Civil War soldiers, had to deal with raids from Native American tribes protecting their land, harsh winters, and scorching summers. Central Pacific, on the other hand, faced a different challenge: mountains. Imagine trying to build a railroad through this. The Central Pacific had to tunnel through solid granite to carve a path through the Sierra Nevada range. They employed thousands of Chinese laborers who became the backbone of the workforce. These men worked under incredibly dangerous conditions, using nothing but hand tools and explosives to make their way through the mountains. Many of these workers lost their lives in the process, but their efforts were key to making the railroad a reality. The project wasn't just a technological feat, it was a testament to human endurance and determination. The big meeting at Promontory Point. After years of grueling work, the 2 lines finally met at a place called Promontory Summit in Utah on May 10, 1869. The Golden Spike ceremony marked the completion of the Transcontinental Railroad, with a final spike made of pure gold, driven into the ground to connect the East and West. Imagine the excitement. For the first time, it was possible to travel from coast to coast in just about a week. You could send goods, mail, and people across the country in a fraction of the time it used to take. The impact on America. The Transcontinental Railroad didn't just change transportation, it changed everything. It opened up the West to settlement, allowed goods to flow freely across the country, and connected American businesses to global markets. Entire cities like San Francisco and Chicago grew rapidly because of the railroad. It also transformed the American economy, making it easier to move people and products across vast distances. Suddenly, what had been isolated regions of the country were now connected, and America was able to expand westward at an unprecedented rate. The downside: consequences for Native Americans. But it's important to remember that while the railroad brought growth and opportunity for many, it came at a great cost for others. Native American tribes who lived along the railroad's path were displaced from their lands, and the buffalo, a key resource for many tribes, were nearly driven to extinction as hunters used the railroad to access remote areas. The construction of the Transcontinental Railroad represents both the promise and the pain of American expansion. It's a symbol of progress and innovation, but also of the struggles faced by Native American peoples during this time. Legacy of the Transcontinental Railroad today. The legacy of the Transcontinental Railroad lives on in every aspect of American life, from the goods we buy to the cities we live in. It helped turn the United States into an economic powerhouse, but it's also a reminder of the sacrifices and challenges faced by those who built it. So the next time you hop on a train or order something that travels across the country, remember the incredible journey of the Transcontinental Railroad, the iron path that connected a divided nation and made modern America possible. Thanks for watching. If you enjoyed this look at one of the most important moments in U.S. history, be sure to hit that like button and subscribe for more deep dives into the events that shaped our world. See you next time.